This morning we got this trailer for the new Amazon Prime movie G20 starring Viola Davis and Anthony Starr. And wow, just looking at it, first of all, I'm not going to act like this is my first impressions because I already watched through the trailer, but you can see why the like to dislike ratio is not really good right now. And it's actually just getting more and more dislikes and likes as time goes on. But this is something when I first saw it, I thought it feels like it's something that could almost be a parody. And I'm not knocking it just from the fact that it's a Die Hard-esque movie where you have the president fighting against bad guys, because we've seen movies like that in the past, and I've even enjoyed a lot of those types of movies. Air Force One was the first thing that come to mind. That was back in '97 with Harrison Ford as the president, and I enjoyed that movie, and it essentially the same thing. Then you have Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, both those movies, similar premise that actually came out just a couple months apart from each other. But this is one of those movies that I think is taking it a little bit too far. So you have Viola Davis as the president in this one. She's attending the G20 summit, and then terrorists attack it. Here, I'm just going to kind of fast forward through the trailer.
I've taken the G20.
So yeah, they take hostages. Anthony Starr's the head of the terrorists. I assume, going by his accent, he's supposed to be South African in this one. And one of the things that I thought about this, having a South African bad guy, if they had the setting in South Africa because it's the G20 summit, so they just happen to have a bad guy from that region, or if it's supposed to be like a play on Elon Musk or something like that. I haven't really gotten that from it, but I just think there's kind of like that coincidence there with both of them are South African and both of them are targets for people on the political left right now. So far, it just seems like something that you would normally see in this sort of thing where you have the president gets away from the group or from the terrorists, and she's not held hostage and has to do something behind the scenes in order to try to save everyone. That's fine. And then this is when I think the trailer starts jumping the shark right now. Here. Falls through an elevator full of bad guys. And she actually takes them all out. That's when I think it gets a little ridiculous. Like, okay, now when she starts going commando on them, it's like, I think there's a little bit too much suspension of disbelief here with this sort of thing. Like, I could believe when it came to Air Force One that Harrison Ford, I believe he was in his early 50s when that was made, and Gary Oldman, the main bad guy, was in his late 30s. I could believe that those two, looking at him in the movie, could kind of fight hand to hand and be fairly equal given the circumstances for that, especially when they established that Harrison Ford's character in that movie was a combat veteran, albeit a pilot, but still a combat veteran. He has some know-with-all when it comes to that sort of thing. I think they're kind of going to do that with Viola Davis's character here, but there's a suspension of disbelief in that you don't just accept whatever's presented to you on screen. You're supposed to be able to believe what's presented to you on screen, even if it seems a little far-fetched. And I think this is asking too much of audiences to accept someone like her can actually do the sort of things that they're having her doing this. Like, even if they try to have some type of backstory that justifies it. To me, it's kind of like if you were to see Danny DeVito play a character, like let's say they made John Wick, but instead of Keanu Reeves, it was Danny DeVito playing the role, and they were doing the exact same stunts. He even, let's say, even did a lot of gun training himself and could actually look good with the gun, and they were trying to play it serious. It just wouldn't work because it would look comical with his appearance, what you know about him in that type of role. You couldn't suspend your disbelief. I mean, you could do that as a comedy, but you can't do it in a serious movie. And for this, they're trying to do too much, something that I think looks a little bit too comedic and something that's supposed to be serious. And that's where it really loses me, and why I said, like, this almost looks like it's a parody, but no, they're really going into this because I think what it is Hollywood is trying to really lean into this girl boss sort of mentality. So it's like, okay, we've had these presidents fight back against terrorists in movies in the past. Well, now we have a female president, not only a female president, but a female black president doing this sort of thing. And I can't really see this movie working as a premise. If anything, I think the main people who are going to watch this are just going to watch it as like, okay, like how ridiculous could this be? I don't think anyone's taking this serious. And if you look at the comments over on X where you see Amazon Prime posted this, a lot of them are just kind of roasting it. So you have Nerdrotic right here, Michelle Obama, the motion picture. You had me until Viella fighting one on one with a thug's muscular giant of a man and winning. And that's what I said, like having her get away and doing some stuff behind the scenes, I could almost buy that. But when she starts taking on the action hero or action heroine role and this sort of thing, it's like, okay, I think you're asking a little bit too much of audiences. Thanks, I needed a good laugh. Yeah, I found it pretty funny too. Viola Davis as the president in an action thriller. This is going to be epic. Who's watching? I think I might actually die of cringe. You guys really thought Kamala was going to win, didn't you? Yeah, maybe that's what they were really going for when it came to this one. What in the world is this? Why, I can't wait for the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic's reactions and reviews, because I'm certainly not going to waste my time on this one. I don't know. Maybe it looks like you're missing out on a hilarious movie if you watch it with that in mind, as a comedy as opposed to something to be taken serious. Executive, this is going to be great. Kamala is going to win after all. Make the villain blonde. Hire that guy, the evil Trumplander or whatever his name is. I never thought about that. Maybe that is what they were going for with Anthony Starr. It wasn't an Elon Musk attack. It was a Donald Trump attack, or maybe it's a combination of both. I don't know, but I can see both ways here. This looks horrible. I'll just watch Olympus Has Fallen or Air Force One again. I get having a suspension of disbelief, but there are limits. Yeah, just what I was saying. They're asking too much for audiences when it comes to this. Frog of shame. Personally, I wish Viola was trans or non-binary. That would really bring it all together. Maybe a male to female wife and cats as their kids rather than actual kids. But I guess this rendition will have to do. Yeah, they really weren't leaning into that DEI too much. They could have gone further with this one, but I guess it just has to be the black female president as opposed to a black female trans president or similar with a disability. You got to throw in that disability too. She does this all while blind or in a wheelchair. Is this a comedy? Yeah, that really gives the impression. Like I said, it should have been a comedy. If you were to make this a comedy, like a satire of Hollywood leaning into these sort of things, then I think it could have worked, but I don't think they would want to make something like that, because a lot of the people within Hollywood really do believe in this sort of thing, really are trying to push this type of agenda, despite the overwhelming fact that movies that have been pushing this sort of thing just haven't been profitable for studios. But Amazon Prime is pretty profitable business. They have their delivery service that really offsets the cost of all these movies that they're making out there. They've lost a lot of money on Rings of Power, but they're still pushing that out there. So I think Amazon is kind of looking at this like, yeah, we're not going to make money off of this, but we believe in this cause, so we're going to continue to push this one. And the rest of us out here are just going to point and laugh at it because of just how ridiculous it is. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Did you see the trailer, and what did you think about the trailer? Do you agree with me, disagree with me? And also, if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with the latest entertainment news. And don't forget to click that like button and share this video out there, because it really helps out with the channel. Thank you.